Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Girls Who Like Hoops podcast. I'm Tori. I hope you guys are having a great week. I do want to start this episode off by saying this. Cathy Engelberg, the WNBA commissioner, go ahead and come to the front. Get on your Zoom, okay? I would like to know why there are ads before my games on the WNBA League Pass. Yeah, I would like to know that. And not only that, but it's only one ad, okay? It's only one ad, but it's kind of long, okay? And if you're watching the games back to back, fairly annoying, honestly. And I'm trying to figure out, Cathy, if I gave you the money already, okay? If I paid for my league pass, I got the annual. You know what I'm saying? I got the annual, so you got my money straight out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't have to get, every month, is she gonna give me the money? Is she not? I gave you the annual. But that wasn't enough for you. No. You want to give me an ad before. And not only that, but the ad is for the junior NBA. Who asked? And maybe I'm a hater. But Cathy, you need to come to the forefront. Because did I not already give you my money? Count your days, lady. Count your days. That's first. I don't know what it is about these big companies and big brands having no respect for the value of a dollar anymore. Okay? But there's no reason I should be muting my video because I'm annoyed with the ad. There's no way. I had 15 games to watch this week, Cathy. I seen the ad 13 times because you ain't put the ad in until later in the week. Me and you have big beef right now, Cathy, okay? Count your days and watch your back. Anyways, guys, I'm so happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to handle Cathy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to shake her up a little. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, first things first, I hope you guys are having a great week, like I said. Like and subscribe, get in the comments, talk about things you want to say and everything. I responded to everybody's comments last week on the past two. I also want to apologize for the people on YouTube. Had some technical difficulties last week, and unfortunately, it split the video, like the podcast episode, up in video form. So I'm really sorry about that. If you're on Spotify, it didn't affect you in any way. My file was corrupt and it only uploaded like the first hour and 5 minutes, and then I had to go and upload the rest of it. But I am sorry for that, and hopefully this week will be better. And you guys are just gonna wake up on Saturday and be like, "Oh my gosh, a new episode of the podcast is out! I'm so excited!" And you're gonna tap in. It's gonna be so great. Anyways, but thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm not going to get super sappy this time. I'm going to keep it cute and keep it short, but I really am so grateful for you guys listening. I really appreciate it. So follow me whenever you're listening to this on to stay up to date on new episodes. They're usually out every weekend, typically Saturday morning, but I don't want to say that because sometimes I be goofing, and I'm sorry. I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better in the next half, we hope, but don't quote me on it. This week for the Unrivaled League, we had 3 people unveiled to be a part of the league. We have Ryan Howard, Kalia Copper, and Jackie Young. Honestly, I'm not above begging. So Unrivaled League, if you guys are looking for somebody to come out on there and make some content, if you guys want me to talk about it on this podcast, get in my email, get in the DMs, get in the comments, do whatever you got to do. I'm only a state up. So it's like, if y'all want me to just drive down, as long as there's a ticket at the gate waiting for me, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be there. And I would love to support the league. So if y'all want to pay me, or if y'all just want to give me a little job, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind. I would be there. I'd be so excited. So get with me. Okay. Get with me. And honestly, if y'all want to send me some merch, feel free to do that too. Honestly, if you don't want to give me the job, you just want to give me the merch, I would take the merch too. You know what I'm saying? Or if you wanted to do both, I'm just saying you could do both. Anyways, back to the basketball. Last week on the Spotify poll, I asked, what did I ask? Hold on. I asked which injury this season has affected their team the most, and then I had 7 options, and people could vote and all the things. So I had 18 votes. And Nafisa Collier, Chelsea Gray, Satu Sabali, Ryan Howard, Brittany Sykes, Cameron Brink, and Diana Taurasi were on the list. The person who got the most votes was Nafisa Collier. And honestly, I agree. I really do. I agree. Satu Sabali got 4 votes, which I also agree with that one. Chelsea Gray got 3. I agree with that one. I really do. I agree with that one. And then we got 1 for Ryan Howard, 1 for Brittany Sykes, and 2 for Cameron Brink. And I agree with those all. I think after the Diana Taurasi got no votes, but I think after the All-Star and Olympic break, we're going to be looking at some very different teams, and I'm honestly really excited for what that's going to look like and what it's going to be for the league in general. I think that we're going to see people, really wanting to win and really fighting every single game to win. Not that they're not fighting to win right now, but I definitely feel like it's been some slacking. So, you know what? I think there's a lot of teams that have been kind of under the radar lately, and I think they're really going to make a big push and try to, be in the playoff conversation, and I'm excited for that. So let's get into the basketball, which we're all here for. Friday, we had 3 games: Aces versus Dream, Mercury versus Fever, and Lynx versus Storm. First, we're going to start with Aces versus Dream. I have a lot of things to say about the Dream. I do. And I'm going to start by saying turnovers were a problem. They were. There was the 14 turnovers to the Las Vegas Aces, 9. Their starters scored 41 points to the Aces 72. They shot 10.5% from the 3 to the Aces 41.4%. I went back and I watched 77 of the shots they took, and there were a lot of moments where there were broken plays. There were moments when the person with the ball just refused to pass it. There were a lot of moments. And I'm going to start by saying this. I think that we have things to work on. That's not obvious, first of all, but I actually want to talk about what I think the owners of the Dream should be doing. I think that if the people who are the owners of the Dream don't have feet on necks during this All-Star break, I'm questioning the organization. I am, because, and this is, first of all, I'm going to preface this by saying I can't do what these athletes do, okay? Like, I would never sit here and diminish the work that they do, so this is really not about them. I think that some of the questions that need to be answered need to be to the coach and to the front office. I think that the Dream, we have several things that we need to address. The biggest elephant in the room to me is, how did the Atlanta Dream have 3 draft picks and none of the picks are going to be able to help them this season? If you even take one look at the Atlanta Dream team, and I don't mean this in any like type of way, like I really hate that I have to say this. If this team sucks. Yeah, they do. They suck. If Ryan Howard and Jordan Canada aren't out there, if Alicia Gray isn't shooting well, which I can't even be mad at her for not shooting well, because the team's been on her back for a brick, because everybody's hurt, everybody's injured, right? I can't be mad at her for that. She's a great player, has great energy. She can only do so much. This team sucks, okay? This team had 3 draft picks this year: the 12th pick, the 20th pick, and the 32nd pick. They chose 2 players from Australia, 1 player from Italy. And I'm not going to say that these aren't great picks, because I don't know. I don't know who those people are, okay? I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I do, because I don't. But the fact that you wouldn't draft people that can help you right now is very confusing to me. And if I'm the owner, I'm questioning that decision off rip. Because actually, I know that you guys went and got Jordan Canada. You traded her for Erin McDonald, which I think was a very silly trade if you look at right now. If you look at how she's playing right now compared to, and I get it, there's injuries, but the fact that this team cannot do anything really and aren't really that competitive, that's not going to work. That is winning you absolutely nothing in the WNBA. Absolutely nothing. And they just keep getting away with it. The owners need to have feet on necks at this point, because if it's me, all my money's going into this. Y'all aren't winning anything. And like I said last week, if this team does not make it to the playoffs, which they're not even in the playoff conversation right now, if this team doesn't make it to the playoffs, I'm cleaning house. I'm cleaning house because what exactly have I been spending my money on? What exactly am I spending my money on if it's not to win? There are a lot of questions that need to be answered for this team. If you just watch one of these games, you don't have to watch like a handful of them. You can point out many problems. Like I said before, for one of which being that some people just don't pass the ball. On any given night, it's not, we're all contributing to the offense. Sometimes multiple people who are playing for minutes at a time are not contributing at all. And moreover, this is a very low-scoring team. And I mean that in the way that during this game in particular against the Aces, they didn't score their first bucket until 4 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. But we're supposed to take this seriously. I'm sorry, no. Immediately no. And I keep thinking that maybe there's a method to the madness. Like maybe there's something that I'm not seeing. Maybe they have this underground plan. Maybe they have this big plan. And no, that's just not it. All the Atlanta Dream do is fumble bags. And I wouldn't be mad at any player for demanding a trade. I really wouldn't. Because I wouldn't want to spend my time here. I wouldn't want to spend my career here not getting better and losing. That's just me, though. I can see a lot of potential in a lot of teams in this league, but when I watch this team, I'm confused. I don't know what's going on. It's broken plays. It's Tina Charles telling her teammates where they need to be and where they should be and where they're going. And if you have to get told where to be, where to go, and that's not even the main problem, per se. That's not even the main problem. We have things to work on. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. This game in particular, Cheyenne Parker-Tyus had a good game. You know what? I'm going to give them 2 pros. They did 2 things well. They had a lot of second chance points. They rebounded the ball well. They had 42 points in the paint. Good for them. There's really not too many great things to say. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 2 steals. She shot 7 of 9. Maya Caldwell, she was one of the only other people contributing on offense. Alicia Gray had a tough game, but again, I can't even be mad at her for that because she'd been carrying the team for the past 2-3 weeks. So can't even be mad at her for that. Maya Caldwell had some good looks. They just weren't falling. And typically, I'm of the belief that if the shot isn't falling, stop taking it. But if Maya Caldwell doesn't take it, if Alicia Gray doesn't take it, who else is going to do it? The answer is no one. For the Aces, Asia hit 3 threes in a row. She was wide open. Nobody wanted to come out and contest. Player of the game for the Aces was Asia Wilson, had 33 points, 18 rebounds, 5 blocks, 3 steals. Jackie Young had 19 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Kelsey Plum had 15 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals. Great game for them, honestly. Really great game for them. Obviously, they won. Next, we have the Mercury versus the Fever, and the Fever won. This is a pretty embarrassing game. I won't lie. This was pretty embarrassing. For the Mercury, and it's not that embarrassing. Actually, you know what? This is complex because I want to be of the mind that even if your star players are gone, you still need to be able to play the game, right? You still need to be able to do well. At the same time, Natasha Cloud was out, and her absence actually was felt. It was felt very heavily. There was a tech. I don't know if there was just one tech or if it was multiple techs, but there was a tech. Again, we have the poise issue. I will say this. The Fever are looking really goofy right now. They are. To me, they look very goofy because Celeste Taylor got picked up on a 10-day. And she was picking up Caitlin full court. First of all, that's first. So it's kind of like the Fever's problem is their defense. And so it's like y'all had Lexi Hall rotting away on the bench for the longest time. And yeah, sure, at times she can be an offensive liability. I'm not going to sit here and deny that. I thought that sometimes throughout the week. I said, Lexi Hall probably could have gave you a little bit more. But when you think about it, are we putting Lexi Hall out on the floor to be this offensive juggernaut? No. We're putting her out there to put pressure on the ball. That's exactly what we're doing. Not only that, but Celeste Taylor was out there picking up people 94 feet all week. Then I think, how many games she played? 1, 2, 3. She played 3 games this week, and when she got her floor time, she was picking you up 94 feet. And she played great defense on Caitlin. So the Fever are looking goofy as hell right now to me. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but if your problem is defense and you have somebody like Celeste Taylor sitting on the bench, never saw floor time except maybe 3-5 minutes at best, looking goofy. You're looking very goofy right now. Celeste Taylor, she brought the ball up. She was facilitating well. And to me, I was just confused. It was absolutely baffling to me that she was playing the good minutes that she got this week, and she went out there and gave good energy every single time. She was always had a good plus minus. Like, and you're telling me that you gave that up for what exactly? Not letting 3 people on your team play this week. That's strange. But you know what? I don't expect Christy Sides to make the right decisions all the time. I don't. It's actually something that I don't expect. So anyways, one of the other problems that I saw with the Mercury during this game was just this insistence on driving into the paint when it was crowded and not looking to pass the ball to anybody else. That was a problem that I saw. And not only that, but the Mercury getting to within 6, I didn't see that coming. To be fair, I didn't. But what I thought was crazy was, first of all, they challenged a call in the 4th quarter. It was a bad challenge. They lost. But I think you don't get to within 6 points with Kahleah Copper bringing the ball up or facilitating. You didn't get within that 6-point range playing that way. And so it was confusing to me to see her with the ball in her hands and then just like throwing shots up. And it was actually kind of upsetting because Celeste Taylor was on the floor before she got taken out at that point. And it really just confused me. Because if you didn't get back in the game playing that way, why would you allow somebody to take you out of the game playing that way? That didn't make any sense to me, and Nate really pissed me off with that. He really did, because y'all could have at least tied it up. It could have at least have been a winnable game, but just going out there and being like, okay, you take the ball and you go out there and do it. I don't think that Kahleah Copper is necessarily that kind of player yet, or has evolved into that kind of player yet. She kind of needs somebody to help her set it up. And yeah, she can get you an ISO, but that's not what was happening there. She was bringing the ball up and then chucking up the shots, or going into the paint and it was contested. No. Nate, you have to know when to be like, hey, go out there and look for the best shot that you can, not the first shot that you get. And I think maybe you even get within 2. Maybe you tie it up. Maybe you even win the game. But because what was the point of having people go out there and play great defense and even like Kahleah Copper giving you some good points? What was the point of that if you were just going to waste it away at the end? Doesn't make sense to me, Nate. But you know what, Nate? I'm going to give you the teensiest little bit. I'm going to give you a little bit of rope. I'm going to give you a little bit of rope on that one, because Brittany Griner went down this game, I believe. So I'm going to give you a little bit of rope on that. But just know, it won't happen again. Anyways, as a team, I liked the restraint of shooting the threes, okay? They shot 10 of 29 from 3, and I thought that was better than them shooting 35 of them, 38 of them. That was better than that. So I like the restraint there. I think that Nate may be learning things. Either that or he's listening to the podcast. It could be either or. It could be either or. Anyways, I think, oh yeah, I don't love the idea of Kalia taking 11 threes. That's what I didn't like. I like that there was only 29 of them. I like that it was 10 of 29. I don't love that Kalia Copper was taking 11 of them. Didn't love that. And when, like I said, when they were within 6, taking threes, that's not how you got back into the game, really. And I thought that some of the looks that she got in that fourth quarter when she was trying to get them like to tie, they weren't good looks. And again, Nate, that's when you have to be like, hey, take the best shot, not the first one. Okay? Okay. Glad we got the basics of basketball figured out. Anyways, Kalia Copper gave you a good stat line regardless. 36 points. She shot 11 of 25 and was 11 of 13 from the free throw line. Sophie Cunningham had 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and was 5 of 9 from 3. Natasha Mack gave you 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Kiki Herbert Harrigan gave you 10 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. I hope she gets more minutes, even when, everybody's healed up and healthy, which they kind of were healed up and healthy this week, but I'm not going to lie, I'm going to miss Celeste. I'm going to miss that girl. Honorable mention to her performance. She was out there for 24 minutes, okay? That's a testament to, and that's crazy, because the girl wasn't even seeing no floor time. She wasn't even seeing no floor time in Indiana. But Celeste Taylor, she gave you 24 minutes, 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals. Monster defense, okay? Picking you up 94 feet. There's not many people who do that. There's not many people out there in the WNBA who do that. And I think her being waived, it was a misstep. It was a misstep. Somebody needs to pick her up. Pick her back up. Okay, anyways, for the Fever, Caitlin's passing is great. Nobody denies that. Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston are mastering the pick and roll. I think that you do have to play better defense. Like, they weren't, like, the Mercury weren't in this game, and I think that you also can't let other teams get back and jeopardize you winning. Like, even if you're up 20, you can't just like start slacking off and like just doing anything. Like, you really have to keep playing basketball the right way. And this is really the thing that I stress to any of the teams who are like in the lower tier. Not saying that the Fever are in the lower tier, but they kind of, this rule applies to them. You just have to play good basketball throughout the game, and you can't just like give up on those ideas just because you think you're losing, or like you think you're about to like the win is slipping away. You have to always play the right way. And if you always play the right way, even when you're losing, at some point when you start winning, it's like, it's about creating those habits, which is what all the coaches be saying. It's about habits. It's about habits. Which they be eating that one thing up, because it is about habits. And if you play good basketball, even when you're losing, when you start winning, you're still going to be playing good basketball. I think Christy Wallace not having any minutes, I'm glad that Christy's finally seeing the light on that one. Christy, I was waiting on you, Christy. Christy might listen to the podcast, actually, because I'm watching you, lady. Anyways, for the stats, Kelsey Mitchell had 28 points and 3 rebounds. Caitlin had 20 points, 13 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1 steal. Aaliyah Boston had 21 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks, and was 10 of 17. Aaliyah Boston had a really great game, and I knew she would. At the beginning of the season, I said, Aaliyah Boston gonna come back. Y'all just got to give her a second to warm up. Give her a second, because sometimes you just start the season a little weird. But she came back, and she's doing better. Nalissa Smith had 14 points and 10 rebounds, double-double. I think those 4 played a really great game, and that's how you end up winning this game at the end of the day. Next, we have Lynx versus Storm. This game was a tragedy. As a Lynx fan, it was a tragedy. As a Storm fan, oh my gosh, so great. But I was rooting for the Lynx. I like the Storm, but I was rooting for the Lynx. Really, I wasn't even that I was rooting for the Lynx. I just thought that the game was going to look more like the other matchups that they've had this season, because I really loved the matchups between these two teams, because they're very evenly matched when it comes to defense. So even like if somebody gets going in transition, you're going to see like both teams playing great defense. It's not just going to be like a lot of times when the Liberty goes and they take off in transition, like the other team just kind of, oh, well, we just didn't do it. It's like kind of feels like nobody's giving enough effort in transition to kind of go and, get a block or to like contest shots and stuff. And I feel like with these two teams, you get that. And you also get like a high level energy and stuff. But this matchup was nothing of the sort. And I'm gonna give them just a wee bit of slack because Nafisa Collier is not playing. At the same time, still had to be able to execute, and they won games without Nafisa. And so, kind of hard. I definitely knew they were losing this game by the second quarter. So, because I think Skylar Diggins had hit a 3. And not to say that she doesn't hit threes or that she's not a good shooter or anything, but she mostly is like getting downhill, going to the free throw line type stuff, hitting mid-range shots. Like she can hit a 3, but like this season, it's been like a little bit slower to get there. And so when she hit that 3, I was kind of like, wow, my team's really cooked. I was just happy to be there, but I was kind of sad to be there. Anyways, for the Lynx, they were in the game in the first quarter, and I thought that they played really great basketball. I think the score was maybe like they had 22 points in the first quarter, and then I think the Storm had 21. After that, though, no clue what happened. The wheels fell off, and I hated that. They were down 18 going into the half, and really, like I said, by the second quarter, I knew they were cooked. They had a really rough shooting night. Kayla McBride had 27 points and 3 steals. Every other starter combined for 14 points. I really don't know what there is to say here. Like, nobody else in the team made more than 2 shots that night. And they shot, 19 of 26. So it was just a rough shooting night in general, but because of the Storm's defense. But it was just really rough for them. And without Nafisa Collier, these are the matchups where it's like you can feel that she's missing and that there's something not full about the team. But you know what? It's okay because they were out there and they won the other 2 matchups. So we're okay. Or was it 3? I don't remember how many it was, but they won the other ones. Anyways, for the Storm, they had a great game. They took control of the game at the beginning of the second. And then, the rest is history, really. I liked the utilization of the bench. And actually, I think the score was 69-91, something like that. This was not that great. The game was, the Lynx got cooked a little bit, but it's okay. The Storm, I like the utilization of the bench. Nika, she got 5 minutes. She didn't get her first WNBA points, but she was out there. She was on the floor for them 5 minutes. She did. She was out there, and she was being a point guard. Anyways, Nneka Ogwumike had 26 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists. She shot 10 of 14, which is really great for her. Honestly, when Nneka started shooting well, I was kind of like, okay, Lynx, you're cooked. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that Nneka doesn't shoot well or anything, but typically she's more defensive. She's gonna get you the rebound, she's gonna pass the ball, but she's not always giving you 26. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, but Skylar Diggins, she gave you 10 points, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. She played really great defense and always gives, just puts a lot of pressure on the ball. Ezzy Magbagor gave you 10 points and 8 rebounds. Jewel Lloyd had 14 points, 5 assists. She didn't really shoot that well this game, but she went to the free throw line and handled business. Victoria Vivians had 8 points and 8 rebounds. Sammy Whitcomb had 14 points. And they had just pretty much a good game there. On Saturday, we had 2 games. The first was Liberty versus Sky, and the last one was Sparks versus Wings. The Liberty won versus the Sky. I think this is actually the day that Angel, her streak ended, which was honestly, that's pretty unfortunate. This game made me hate the Liberty a little bit more than I already did. You know what I'm saying? Before it was just like, I'm neutral. I don't love them. I don't hate them. I hate them more than I love them. But hey, they're the Liberty. They're good. I can't take that away from them. This game, I don't know. The Liberty, they gave Loser a little bit. They gave Big L Loser a little bit because there was a point when, what was it? Oh, Angel had tossed the ball back and then they were calling for the tech. The players on the floor were like, call the tech. And I was like, oh, wow, that is some loser behavior right there. Oh, wow, that's some loser behavior. And it really did feel like loser behavior. And honestly, this is why I want the Liberty to fail. I don't want them to, well, I won't say ever succeed, but I didn't like that. That was very loser behavior to me. For the Liberty, there was no Brianna Stewart. They went on a run before the half, and the Sky just didn't respond. They never recovered from that. Sabrina gave you 28 points, 6 assists, and 3 rebounds, and she shot 9 of 21. 4 of 12 from 3. Sabrina's not looking like herself. I hate to be one to be in agreement with other people, but Sabrina's not really looking like herself. Like, yeah, 28 points is great, but like that's very inefficient. 9 of 21? Damn. Anyways, Jonquel Jones had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. This is a better stat line than last week, so I'm going to let her live on that one. Good job, Jonquel. Keep your head up. Leona Phoebish gave you 13 points, 6 rebounds, and shot 3 of 5 from 3. Really great effort, with no Benaja Laney Hamilton and no Brianna Stewart. I think them pulling the win out was pretty great. I think that says a lot about this team, I guess. Anyways, still giving, but Anyways, for the Sky, despite them not shooting that well as a team, I think they had the lead at the end of the first quarter. They just weren't able to keep it going. They had back-to-back steals in the third quarter. I thought they were about to be on to something, going a little run, but not quite. Michaela was cooking. I'm not going to say her last name because I'm going to mess it up, and I don't want to mess up her last name because actually it sounds really pretty, like when the little voice thing is saying it, but let's save ourselves the trouble. Anyways, Marina Mabrey but she had 21 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. She was 4 of 7 from 3. So honestly, a pretty good night from her. Michaela, I'm not going to say her last name. She gave you 14 points and was 6 of 7. That's really great. Very efficient to me. Nobody else really did anything memorable and not even maybe. And that's kind of the problem. Okay. Next up, we have Sparks versus Wings. The Sparks won this one, unfortunately. My poor Wings, damn. Arike and Kia were really getting into it. They got really, they got a little feisty. It got a little physical during the game. I'm not going to lie. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Makes the game more interesting. And really from that moment on, the energy in the game, it was up. I ate that up. I did like the fact that the refs didn't call a tech though, because the refs are just letting them play, and I think that doesn't happen as much as it should. So that was fun, but yeah, I really enjoyed that. For the Wings, Odyssey Sims played really great this game. I think she's a phenomenal player, and I honestly can't believe that she was on nobody's team before now. She always plays really great defense, applies a lot of pressure to the ball and the ball handler. And honestly, her driving to the rim and to the cup and getting downhill, she takes a lot of contact, and I just really like her play style. And honestly, I think if anything, I would love to see her on the Lynx if Olivia Akupa isn't back after the break. I think it'd be so cool because she really gets downhill and she's fast and she facilitates well, and I think that would really change things for the Lynx, but I don't think that's probably going to happen, but it'd be really cool if it did. And I feel like this game against the Sparks is kind of the perfect game for me to say, people have got to put respect on the Dallas Wings name. I know that they are in the bottom of the standings, but this team is really good. If you actually sit down and watch the team, they have potential, and I see it every week when I watch their games. And I think after the break, once they're fully healthy, this is going to be a very different team. And honestly, I hope that they go on a win streak. I think they really deserve it. They've worked really hard. They've been in the trenches all season. And, when they beat the Fever, which we're going to talk about later, when they beat the Fever later this week, people really were kind of like, oh, this is the worst team. How do you lose to this team? And it's just like, okay, whoa. Not too much. The Dallas Wings, they just have had a really bad stroke. They've had a stroke of bad luck, honestly. And I think that they're getting better every time that they play together. And I think Odyssey Sims is a very big part of that, obviously, but also JC Sheldon coming along and contributing. I think it's going to be a very great team after the break, and I'm excited to see them. Odyssey Sims gave you 23 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, and she shot 9 of 17. Natasha Howard gave you 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Arike gave you 12 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. She had a good game. Kalani Brown had 13 points, 6 rebounds, and shot 5 of 9. And I really do like Kalani Brown playing the 5, and I'm glad that she's been getting more minutes this week. I really like Tiara McCowan and what she does, but to me, Kalani Brown kind of has like a little bit more like calmness and poise to her a little bit, and I really just liked her efficiency. But like I said, this is going to be a very different team after the break, and I'm excited to see, you know, how they grow and what they look like afterwards. For the Sparks, they had a really great game. Rakia and Azurá Stevens had really good games. Like, Rakia was really cooking in the first quarter and had a really great game. Dearica Hamby does what she does all the time. Gave you 27 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 block. She was 13 to 24. Rakia Jackson, like I've told you guys, she's really developing. Rakia Jackson has really like stepped up, and she gave you 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists, and I think that's really great, and I'm so happy for her, and Rakia Jackson deserves to be talked about more, and then, you know, just the clothes that she's wearing or all the other stuff. So, yeah. Azurá Stevens had a really good game. She had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 3 blocks, and she shot 4 of 4 from 3. This is a really great game for her. Like, I didn't even know Azurá Stevens was doing stuff like that. You know, she played on the Liberty last year, and I felt like I don't really remember seeing her that much. But I'm happy that she's here and she's putting up some good numbers, and that, you know, she's back from injury. And I think this team is going to look really great next season as long as they keep, you know, Azurá Stevens and Rakia, Cameron coming back, and Dearica Hamby. It's gonna be a little nasty in there, and I'm really excited about it. Erin McDonough gave you 12 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, and 3 steals. This is really great, and congrats to the Sparks for winning this one. I think they really needed this one. On Sunday, we had 4 games. The first was Mercury versus Sun. The Sun obviously won, and this is the perfect time for me to bring up a question that people have been asking me on TikTok about whether or not I think Marina is going to be starting, or what's going to be going on there, what's going to be the lineup. And honestly, I think this is going to be a really interesting trade because Dejanay and Marina have some beef, and they've had beef for a little minute now. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see them playing on the same court together, but also like playing on the same team and seeing them be teammates and what that's going to look like. Honestly, I think Marina will probably just be coming off the bench, at least for the first game or the first few games. If she starts, I would see her starting at the 1 in place of Ty Harris, because to me, when I watch the Sun, I think Ty Harris is kind of like facilitates well, yes, but I think with Marina, she can facilitate, but she can also give you a little bit more consistent offense. She hasn't been super consistent, which people who enjoy the Sky have definitely been saying, but I think that like with the new team and stuff, I think that it would be different. And even if she's not necessarily like being like this offensive juggernaut, I think that she would take a lot of pressure off of DeWanna Bonner, because a lot of times when she isn't shooting well, it's kind of like the team is like, it's kind of hard for them to get going offensively because of the way that they play, like going into the paint, getting downhill, needing to go to the free throw line. And I think that Marina would definitely just be like a different option for them, and I think that would be really great for them. But I think that she would probably, if she does end up starting, it would be in place of Ty Harris, and then Ty Harris probably be like a backup 1 or something like that, and it could just be reversed, but I don't think she's starting out the gate. I think they're probably going to keep the same lineup starting that they've been had, and then just see where she fits in, and I think Stephanie White's probably going to implement her in very well. So I guess we're going to wait and see what happens, but I'm excited to kind of see what's going to happen there, and I think that this does make them contenders. And makes me take them more seriously as contenders, because when we're having the conversation, I always talked about how they kind of just need more shooters, which is kind of awkward because Rachel Bannon was cooking this week. She had like 24 points. If not this game, then the next game. It was this game. But yeah, she was giving you really great offense, and I think losing her is going to be troubling. However, I do think that Marina is probably going to be a little bit more, just give you like a little bit more offensively, so, and more on a consistent basis. So there's that, and those are my thoughts. For the game, I don't know if it's just me, but I hate the way that the Mohegan Sun Arena is lit. Like, to me, the lighting is absolutely terrible for broadcast TV. I think that Alyssa Thomas is honestly just too smart for the game. Natasha Cloud was back this game, and so was Brittany Griner. And one thing that Alyssa Thomas did was somebody had poked the ball away. I think it was Natasha Cloud. And instead of like picking it up and forcing like the little like, backcourt violation, she let the ball roll. And then when Natasha Cloud kind of like started picking up on the fact that she was going to let it roll until it went out of bounds and like waste up the clock, she tried to kind of go after it. But Alyssa Thomas, she was too smart and was kind of like boxing her out from the ball. And it was like a really great use of like wasting time on the clock. It was really great, and I thought it was very smart, and honestly, her mind is too powerful for the game. That's what I have to say about that right now, but now we're going to move on to the Mercury and talk about what they gave you this game. Without Natasha Cloud on the floor, I think it's very obvious that the plays just aren't really working and that people kind of just don't really know what to do without somebody orchestrating them, which is fair because the point guard role is very important. But Nate was kind of on the sidelines calling plays throughout the game, and the plays were just broken. Like, they looked broken. People looked confused. Like, they kind of like they just weren't really able to like do exactly what the plays were supposed to be doing. And I don't know if it was just like the defense was too smart or what was going on there, but I think they definitely need to work on that. Kalia Copper played a really great game. Genuinely, I don't know what this team needs to do better. The Sun is a really great team, yes, but this team also really does need to start rebounding on both ends of the floor. And I think people will say that this game and them losing was the expected outcome, but I think that's just not a good enough explanation for me. I think that the Mercury definitely could have put up more of a fight, and I would have liked to see them kind of, really dig in and play a little bit harder and maybe, just make it interesting a little bit. But yeah, the Sun are good, but I think the Mercury had the potential to beat this team if they really want to do that. And I know that Diana Taurasi wasn't playing, or was she? I don't really remember. She might have been back this game. I don't remember, but I really would have liked to see them like really compete this game, and I felt like I didn't really get that. It was also the fact that nobody tried to pick Rachel Banham up when she was just walking into threes. It was very weird. This was a very strange game to me. I like Kalia Copper only taking 4 threes. I think that was a lot better than the 11 that she took earlier this week. And then they only had 9 points in the third quarter. So that's questionable, very questionable. Anyways, Kalia Copper had 17 points, 6 rebounds. Brittany Griner had 16 points, 9 rebounds. And Natasha Cloud had 10 points and 6 assists. Okay. Celeste Taylor, honorable mention. She got 2 points this game. She did well. She didn't get as many minutes as she did last time, but I did like seeing her on the floor, and I felt like she came in and picked up 94 feet. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, for the Sun, Rachel Banham had 24 points. Brianna Jones had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. DeWanna Bonner had 17 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. And Dejanay Carrington had 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. They had a great game, honestly. They had many people contributing, and I don't think you can ask for too much more than that. Obviously, the Mercury aren't like this super hard team to beat or anything, but they went out there and they played their game. So congrats to them. Next game we have is Aces versus Mystics. The Aces, they've just been starting games really slow, and I don't know why. I think that's probably one of their biggest issues that they need to fix coming out of the break. Asia Wilson gave you 28 points, 17 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and she shot 12 of 19. Very efficient night for her. Kelsey Plum had 22 points, and Tiffany Hayes had 17 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds. And again, while the Aces won, I still just think you can't come out or start games slow the way that they have been, and I think that's one of the reasons that they just haven't really been playing very well. Like, it's always just them trying to dig themselves out of the hole, and they need to work on that. For the Mystics, Ariel Atkins had 36 points and shot 6 of 9 from 3. She had a very impressive game. And outside of that, I wasn't very impressed with anybody else's performance. Nobody else had more than 9 points on the team. And the team, they shot the 3 well, but really it was just Ariel Atkins shooting the 3 well. But Dee Dee Richards was injured during this game, unfortunately, and doesn't play for the rest of the week. I think Emily, I already told you I'm not saying that girl's last name because I'm going to mess it up. But I think Emily should have had more minutes. I think she comes out there and gives you really great energy and plays good defense. And I think she just deserves more minutes this game. I thought that was good. That would have been a good decision in this matchup. And she played well against them the last time. So the fact that she didn't get that many minutes, very confusing. But I don't expect too much more from Eric Thibault. I really don't. They came out playing really great, this Mystics team, and then they just weren't able to keep up with that throughout the game. Aces are just a tough team to beat, but they played that first quarter really well and they were in there. So I think you take that as a win, and maybe you just try to replicate that first quarter onwards. Okay. Next up, we have the Fever versus Lynx game. This game, actually, I'm about to be talking about this for 20 minutes, I fear. Yeah, let me go ahead and put my notes over here to the side because I have things to say, and I was very upset watching this game. This game ruined me, actually. I was absolutely sick watching this game, and especially the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this game. I was showing anybody who would listen the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this game because it was just you could tell everything that could have gone wrong in the final minutes, not even everything that could have gone wrong. Literally, this game really showed you and highlighted the importance of crunch time, of being a closer, why you need a closer, being able to close the game in general. This game actually had me sick. And actually, let me take a sip because it's about to get serious. First of all, the Fever. The Lynx held Caitlin to 2 points in the first quarter and then 5 in the second. And I was like, man. And here's the thing. I went on TikTok and I was like, they locked Caitlin up. And people were like, locked up. They didn't lock her up. They literally did. She only had 7 points in the first half. Don't piss me off. That's 1. 2, here's the thing with making sure Caitlin only scores 7 points in the first half. The problem with the scheme or the mindset that if you just stop Caitlin, you're going to win the game is that you can't be tied at the half. You can't be shutting down Caitlin and then be tied at the half. That's not going to work. That's not going to work, I fear. If the plan is to stop Caitlin, that's fine, but that means you have to shut one other starter down too. You can't just only be focused on Caitlin because that's just not going to work. She can still pass the ball. Yeah, she may not be shooting, but she can still assist, or Kelsey Mitchell can still get the ball, and even if you, and Kelsey Mitchell had a really good game shooting or even just driving to the basket. She had a really great game. And your only game plan to win against the Fever cannot just be to stop Caitlin. Maybe at the beginning of the season, but at the point that we're at now, just stopping Caitlin from scoring is not going to beat the Fever anymore. No Nafisa Collier, the paint's vulnerable. So I thought it was kind of strange that, yeah, you're stopping Caitlin from shooting, but she was still able to get into the paint, get to the free throw line. Aaliyah Boston was still able to go in there and do whatever she wanted. Just stopping Caitlin isn't going to do it, and that was one of the schemes that kind of annoyed me looking back. And honestly, when I was doing my notes for this game, I was really annoyed, just in overall, but really annoyed with that decision. I think it's fair to say that the Fever are either shooting the 3 or they're going to the paint. Whether that's passing to the big and they shoot in the paint, or if it's just getting downhill, they're not really doing anything outside of those 2 things. And, well, unless Erica Wheeler's on the floor, really. And maybe Kelsey Mitchell a little bit. She might give you a pull-up jumper here and there. But outside of that, mostly people are either shooting 3s or they're driving to the rim. And what I thought was kind of annoying was that they had 40 points in the paint to the Lynx 20. I found that troubling. I did. I found that troubling. And again, I think I know Nafisa Collier. I get it. But this was such a winnable game to me. I really feel like the Lynx have everything they need to win games, to even maybe win a championship. But it's not only about executing, it's also about just passing the ball, but not overpassing, which we're going to get into. So you know what? We're going to put a stop on that for a second. The Fever had 40 points in the paint to their 20. Very telling. I get it, no Napheesa Collier, but the paint is vulnerable. And you cannot let this team give you 40 points in the paint. You just can't. You can't let Caitlin score, but you also can't let them get 40 points in the paint. I would rather you let Caitlin just shoot that three. Okay, well, be intentional now, but also don't just let people go into the paint just because they can. Like, it was a lot. It was a little too much. Anyways, back to the stats. Aaliyah Boston had 17 points, 16 rebounds, 4 blocks, and shot 8 of 11. That's a problem. That's a problem to me. You cannot let that girl do that. You can't let her do that. She was the former Rookie of the Year. You can't let her go in there and do whatever she wants. You can't do that. Kelsey Mitchell had 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Caitlin had 17 points and 6 assists. Now, on to the Lynx and their performance, because I have many notes, actually. I have many notes about what went wrong here. I'm really disappointed in this team because this was a very winnable game to me. There was no doubt in my mind that they were going to win the game. So imagine my surprise when they don't win the game, right? Okay. I don't know if it was this game or if it was a different one, but Coach Reed at the end of this game, or like maybe later on in the week or something, said something along the lines of like, this isn't a team that drives in the paint or gets downhill or something. This isn't that kind of team. And here's the thing about that. Even in theory, that's not that great. That's not a great thing about your team. That's not that great. I don't think that that's a great thing, nor is it a system that I think can win long term. And this, what's crazy is this is like the exact opposite of the situation that I've been talking about with the Sun for the past 2 weeks. If you don't have a player or two that can get downhill, you're not winning anything unless you're extremely efficient, right? So if you're going to be a team that relies on shooting and relies on shooting the three, you have got to be efficient and you have got to be able to shoot that three every single game. And already from the Lynx this season, we have not seen that. And I get it. This whole idea of this system is that you have Napheesa Collier and then you have shooters around her. But then you have the problem of not having Napheesa Collier. And what does that look like? And it's not great. I think I really like this team's defense. And when they're hot from the perimeter, and Napheesa's there, this team looks really great because it's like, wow, you guys have great defense. You have somebody who's in there and, you know, getting you good rebounds, giving you good minutes and all the stuff. But when she's not there, the reality of the situation is that they aren't efficient enough to like upkeep like this level of winning that they can when Napheesa Collier is there. So there's that, and why I agree with the poll. And then there's the reason they lost the game, which we're going to get into right now. I think it's fair to say they lost the game for 2 reasons. The first being overpassing, especially in that last like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm gonna take you through the game, really. And if you haven't seen the game, go watch the highlights or something. Or if you have the WNBA League Pass, go watch the final minutes of that game, the final 2 minutes, because that's where they just lost the game to me. Like, they were in it until they weren't. And when they weren't, they weren't. It was over. It was gone. Trash in the toilet. I think, like I said, one of the first reasons that they lost this game was overpassing. You don't even really have to go back and watch the whole game again to like just see the way that the team crumbled in crunch time. You don't have to watch the whole game to see them crumble. You can watch those last 3 minutes and everything becomes very apparent in those moments. I think they had something like 4 to 5 opportunities to tie the game, and they just weren't able to do it. And there were people, because I made a TikTok video right after this game was over because I was so annoyed. And I actually went and put the last like 2 minutes, like those last possessions that they had, I put those in the video. And there were a lot of people in the comments who were like, they were tired from keeping up with Caitlin. Like, sure, maybe their legs gave out. that's not in the realm of possibility for this team. Like, I don't put it past, like, I'm sure once you start running and you go up and down, like, yeah, my legs are tired, I don't have enough energy to shoot. That's still not, there were certain instances where that wasn't the problem. The problem here is that if you have nobody on the floor who feels comfortable taking the ball into the paint and getting to the free throw line, you have a problem on your hands. Bare minimum, they take the contact and they go to the free throw line. Bare minimum. Best outcome, they get the layup and they get the foul. But you don't even have anybody on the floor who's willing to do that. We have things to work on. We have things to work on. And honestly, I want that those last 3 minutes of that game, that needs to be on replay in team practice after the break. It needs to be on replay. Because how does that happen? How does that happen? And you know what? The second reason that they lost this game, yeah, it was due to the overpassing. And I'm talking constant overpassing. Like they weren't even, it looked like they weren't even trying to get open. They weren't trying to create a hole or division in the defense to get in the paint or to get a shot open. If you watch the last minute, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But the second reason they lost this game was bad shot selection. Kayla McBride is a great shooter. I will never take that away from her. She's always been a great shooter, and this season has been one of the best. But if she's not cooking that night, you don't take both of the shots that she took in those last 2 minutes. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's okay to pass the ball. Yeah. It's okay to pass the ball sometimes. Nobody's above it. It's okay to pass the ball. If your shot's not falling, just pass it on over there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they fell victim to overpassing. But in this instance, Kayla was not cooking that night. She was not cooking. She played really great defense, and that's why she was on the floor. But to be shooting those shots when you haven't been shooting well, I felt like I was watching Klay Thompson last season, and that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. It's really not. Well, the cherry on top of this entire situation was the fact that they had the nerve to huddle up and talk to Coach Reeve about a play that they were going to do in those minutes. Kayla McBride had thrown a shot up and she got fouled, but it wasn't like a foul to go to the free throw line. They need to inbound the ball again. So a couple of the players go over there and talking to Coach Reeve. I'm thinking, okay, they're talking about a good play. Let's see what they put together. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Spoiler alert, it's not great. And what actually pissed me off was they overpassed the ball after talking to the coach about the play. So not only did whatever play y'all was talking about, did that not work, but on top of that, you overpassed the ball to the point where it just looked terrible. I have no clue what the decision was in those moments. But what I do know is that they did not execute the play. Whatever the hell the play was, it wasn't executed. It was broken. And not only that, but another cherry on top was the fact that Xander Lassini was open 2 times within those 2 minutes of the final possession that they had. The final possessions they had, Xander Lassini was open 2 times. And Bridget Carlton was open 1 time. And nobody passed them the ball. Xander Lassini had the mismatch on the block with Caitlin. Xander Lassini, I'm sorry, she cooking Caitlin. If you pass the ball to old girl, she's cooking her, I fear. And might even get the and one. Didn't even get the opportunity to do that. Nobody wanted to pass the ball. Bridget Carlton was open and cutting to the wing, and Kayla didn't pass the ball. She shot it anyways. I think they were trying to piss me off. That's what I think. I think they were trying to piss me off or something, because there's just no way that you have 5 different opportunities to tie the game up or win, and you don't. At that point, put fresh legs in. If that's what it's come to, if they're that tired, put fresh legs in. But she didn't do that. Nobody did that. No. They just fumbled the bag. Anyways, on to the stats. Bridget Carlton had 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 of 10 from 3. I'll take it. I'm glad she's getting the shots up. She shot 6 of 14 overall, but y'all see how I was right. They were in that game because Bridget Carlton was getting her shots up. Kayla McBride wasn't even shooting good like that, but they were in the game because Bridget was shooting the shots. Alana Smith played great this game. It's just a shame that both of these 2 playing really great, amounted to nothing. That's what's crazy. Alana Smith had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals. She started the game really well and contributed offensively, which is the most you can ask for. She plays really great defense. She was up there trying. Courtney Williams had 10 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds. Chechi Zandalasini had 10 points, 6 rebounds. Kayla had 11 points. Again, the reason that you pass the ball. You don't shoot those shots. You had 11 points tonight. Let's go ahead and sit this one out. Let's pass the ball. And I love Kayla. I've been following Kayla for a minute. Very long time, actually. I've enjoyed watching her career. She's a great shooter, like I said. But 11 points, you don't shoot that shot. I don't care what anybody says. You don't shoot that shot. You pass somebody else. And actually, I have one more thing to say. If Natisha Heidemann is giving you nothing, you need to take her off the floor. Because I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. You were on the floor for 12 minutes and you have 0 points. I don't know what you mean. I really don't. And if I was a coach, she would have sat on down. Because at that point, for those 12 minutes, I would have gave her 2 minutes to figure it out. If she didn't figure it out, actually, I'm going to give it 3. 3 minutes to figure it out. If you don't figure it out, I'm putting Diamond Miller in or Alyssa Peely. Let them do something. Because at that point, if you're going to give me 0 points in 12 minutes that you were out there, somebody else can give me 0 points. The other 2 can give me 0 points. Y'all can split them up 3 ways. 3, 3, 3. Oh, wait. Y'all can split them up 4 ways. 4, 4, and 4. I'm bound to get something from somebody for them 4 minutes. But 0 points? I'm sorry. Absolutely not. And this is exactly what I be talking about some of the people on this team. Some of the people on this team will disappear when you need them the most. And if I'm in the locker room, I'm wringing necks. I'm wringing necks off this because y'all could have won that game. And to me, I get it. Natisha plays great defense. She brings really great energy off the bench. And she's also one of the only players who drives to the basket. But for her to play for 12 minutes and give you 0 points, I'm sorry, no. And that's no shade. None of the things that I've said today are shade. I'm just pissed off that they lost the game. This was a winnable game. Very winnable game, but they lost. And I'm going to have to sit with that. I may never recover, honestly. Anyways. On to the next. Next game we have is Dream versus Storm. Ariel Powers was back this game. She played really well. Honestly, me and Ariel Powers, I told you guys, we're no longer beefing anymore. She's kind of sort of built like that. Sort of, kind of. I'm not going to give her all of it 100%, but she's sort of kind of built like that. Sort of, kind of. Maya Caldwell gave you 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Again, somebody who's not even on the team showing the most promise. I find that troubling. Ariel Powers gave you 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. Alicia Gray gave you 12 points and 3 assists. She's been struggling a bit this week, like I said at the beginning of the show, but she won the 3-point contest in the skills. So congrats to her. And she's had this team on her back for the past month and a half. So can't even be mad at her for that. You know what? She gave you 12 points. Be grateful. She gave you 12 points. Be grateful. You need to figure out the rest, Tanisha. You need to figure out the rest. Anyways, for the Storm, Skylar Diggins went out this game, I think, and then when she did go out, the score and the game were becoming noticeably close, and I was getting a little concerned, but I knew the Storm were going to pull it out. I knew they were going to pull it out because Noelle Quinn is like that. This game showed me that Sammy Whitcomb is nice and warmed up for the Australian Olympic team from 3. She hit her 3s when they needed them the most in a timely fashion, and they went on a 9-0 run in 61 seconds in the second quarter, and that really got them back in the game and really put them on top. Ezzie Magbagor gave you 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Jordan Horson gave you 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks, and has been playing really good defense. Jewel Lloyd hasn't really been shooting her best lately, but she gave you 14 points and 7 assists, went to the free throw line. Nneka Ogwumike gave you 10 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. She's been playing really great. She got her double-double. Sammy Whitcomb gave you 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. I think this was a really great win for the Storm. And after Skylar went down, the team came through for the win. So congrats to them. On Tuesday, we had 4 games, and we're almost done, guys. On Tuesday, we had 4 games. The first was Mercury versus Mystics. And honestly, I thought this game was going to be really boring. I'm going to be honest. Sounds like a terrible matchup. It does. But it was actually really interesting. It was camp day and the kids were really excited. They were really loud. They were screaming and I was like, wow, these kids are really excited to be here. But it was fun and a really great time. And really the game was very entertaining and it got physical and I really enjoyed that. So I love a reason to tune in. For the Mercury, they only took 18 threes, and you guys know that I love that. I think Nate has got to be in this podcast. He must be watching the podcast or something because I'm seeing a shift. And it was a shift that took a little too long to come, but it's still a shift. It's still a shift, Nate. You always have time to be better. And you know what? That also goes for Christy Sides. Christy, you always have time to be better, okay? Always have time. It's never too late to turn. It's never too late to make the right decision. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Celeste Taylor was here and she was playing, and that's how you know she left the fever. Okay. She was picking up people 94 feet again. This is the kind of effort that you can't teach. You know what I'm saying? It's the kind of effort that you just have it or you don't, you know? But she had the best plus minus on the team, and honestly, like I was just really proud of her this week. And again, I hope that like in the future, if whether it's an expansion team or whatever, that somebody picks her up and she ends up on a roster somewhere because she always gives you like a lot of great energy and she works really hard. And I would really love to see her playing some more somewhere else if it's not going to be on the Mercury team, because I know that their roster's full. But if another team has like an injury, I hope that, you know, she makes the cut, because I really enjoyed watching her play, and her defense and her effort and her skill and her energy unmatched. So Celeste Taylor, keep your head up. She had, like I said, she had the best plus minus on the team, and I really love that for her. And I felt that Nate Tibbetts, while I never give him his 10s, I think that he did a really great job of coaching her, and he really knew how to use her. And I was happy that she was able to play and be on the court. And honestly, I really loved that. You know, I felt like she was talking to people on the bench and she was yapping, and I was like, I love this for Celeste. You know, she was talking to BG and Diana a couple times, and I was like, this is really great for her. And I hope that, you know, she got the opportunity to learn some stuff while she was with them. And even though, you know, she just got thrown into the team and may not have like known like every single play or anything, I felt like she facilitated well and she used her minutes to really be impactful. And congrats to Celeste Taylor, honestly. I'm going to add applause. Okay, yeah. For the Mercury, they went on a 13-0 run to take the lead, and the Mystics were just never really able to recover from that. Brittany Griner gave you 23 points and 7 assists. Kalia Copper gave you 22 points and 7 rebounds. Diana Taurasi gave you 18 points, 5 assists. And Natasha Cloud gave you 12 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Natasha Cloud is just... she's just built like that. Wow, she's so great. I'm so happy that she's on the floor and, you know, facilitating and being the point guard that this team needs. For the Mystics, Maisha Hines-Allen gave you 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. She had a good game. Julie Van Loo gave you 17 points and 5 assists. Shatori Walker-Kimbrough gave you 15 points and 5 assists. And Ariel Atkins gave you 14 points and 6 assists. I really hope that after the break, you know, I think... Carly Samuelson is supposed to be coming back. Hopefully Dee Dee Richards is back, and Shakira Austin. And I think this team is going to look very different than it does right now. I'm not going to say that they're going to be like, oh, these top contenders, are they going to be in the playoff conversation or anything, because I don't really know if you make that big of a jump. But I do think that this team has the potential to be great, and I think they have some really good pieces here. And, you know, they've really just been sticking it out regardless of, like, losing, and they've been keeping their head up. So, you know, I hope that the Mystics look a little bit better than they do right now after the break. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they do next season and all of the things. Next we have the Storm versus Sparks. This was a good game, honestly. You guys know I don't really love watching the Sparks, but Rakia Jackson and De'Erica Hamby and Azare Stevens have really been, you know, making this team worth it. And I honestly, this team was really close. Like, this game was really close, and I kind of hate that the Sparks lost, but like, somebody had to lose, and like, if it had to be somebody, I'm glad it wasn't the Storm. But, you know, still sad. But yeah, they were really playing their hearts out. This was Nneka's first time back in LA since she joined the Storm, so that was fun. I love that Lisa Leslie was at the game, and I loved the interview that she did. I remember, like, when I was younger, I like, for the most part, WNBA, like, yeah, it was, like, super to Diana Taurasi, but when I would talk to my dad about, oh, I want to go to the WNBA, it would be, oh, it's because Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie, and I would see Lisa Leslie, like, doing, like, guest appearances on, like, TV shows sometimes, so that was really cool, but I really enjoyed Lisa Leslie, and honestly, hearing her talk about this Sparks team and even, like, NECA's career there, it was really nice, and honestly, if she wants to go into commentating, feel free to do that, Lisa. Anyways, NECA gave you 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 steals. She played really great this game. Jewel Lloyd gave you 30 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. Can't ask for much more than that. Jordan Horston gave you 14 points and 8 rebounds. It was a really great, like, effort from those three. And for the Sparks, honestly, again, like, they played really great. It was close. Like, I thought that the Sparks were kind of going to win, and, like, you know, you could tell they were really fighting for it. They just weren't really able to, like, seal the deal and get it done. But Ray Burrell was on a heater. She had 18 points and shot 5 of 7 from 3. She had a really great night. De'Erica didn't have to do too much this game, and also I think towards the end she was in, like, a little bit of foul trouble. But the other players really came through for her on the team. Azurá Stevens had 24 points, 15 rebounds. She's been playing really great this week. And I'm excited to see her and Cameron play next season, like I said. Rakia Jackson had 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists. It wasn't, like, her best game. It wasn't as good as, like, their game against the Wings. But, you know, she was still out there, and she was trying, and she was working hard. And, you know, she's developing and learning and underneath De'Erica. And it's going to be really great, I think, next season. De'Erica had 15 points and 9 rebounds. And honestly, like I said, I think it was a really great showing from the Sparks. You know, they were out there trying and working hard, and you can't ask for too much more than that. They put everything out there on this game. So they played really well. Congrats to them. For even though they didn't win, still congrats to them. Next we have Sun versus Liberty, and if I'm going to be really honest with you, this was the last game I had to watch for the week. And I was awake until I wasn't. Yeah, my eyes shut around maybe the second quarter. They shut and they just never really opened back up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm still going to give y'all the stats. Though. Truthfully, the Sun were in the game for a while. Like, they were hanging around. They just weren't really able to, like, seal the deal. This is the game that makes me think that the trade will be good for them. When DeWanna Bonner isn't shooting at, like, a high volume, you know, you'll have Marina Mabrey, but they did have Rachel, and she's really been shooting well this week. It was just unfortunate, I think, but you know, in a trade you have to give something to get something, so it is what it is. Brianna Jones had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. She's always playing really great. She's always fighting in the paint down there. She's a great center. Congrats to her. Alyssa Thomas had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 assists. She always plays great for the most part. Dejanay Carrington had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 5 steals, which is a fine stat line. I did want to say that she shot her free throws well. You know, she got 7 of 10, but this is kind of one of the reasons that you need a shooter. I think she didn't shoot that well from the field this game, so it's kind of like this is one of the moments when it's like you do need other guards who can contribute offensively. Like, Dejanay does a really great job playing defense and, like, contributing most of the time, but, you know, sometimes you just need something a little bit more consistent and just, like, an addition. Not necessarily that, like, she's not enough, but, like, sometimes you just need a little bit more, just a little cherry on top instead of just having the whipped cream. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even like cherries on my ice cream. That was just a comparison that I felt needed to be made. Anyways, the Liberty, Sabrina had 30 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. Good job, Sabrina, I guess. Courtney had 10 points, 3 assists. Good job, Courtney. Without Sabrina, you lose this game easily, which brings me to the real enemy. Jonquel Jones gave you 8 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And you know what? I think you can say that this is a fine stat for the typical center. But this isn't the MVP version of her. And I think her playing more consistently is the only way that you win a championship this season. Maybe after the break, she'll be back to that level, or I don't really know what needs to happen there. But again, I think that there's too much reliance on other people to have like 30-point games like Sabrina, or for Benajelani Hamilton to like contribute when she is on the court, or even for Brianna Stewart to contribute a lot when she's on the court. It needs to be like all four of them. So like, girl, Jonquel, I'm gonna need you to like lock in. If you want to win a chip, you're gonna have to lock in, because like this passive play style, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, and I can promise you right now, you will not be winning a chip if you keep playing like that. Anyways, next game we have is the Aces versus Sky. I made a whole TikTok video about this game, and so I'm gonna give you guys the stats. I'm not gonna have the same energy because, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of tired. It's 3 a.m. now, and well, I'm struggling. Anyways, but this was a really great game. I think this was the best game of the season, and I think this is the perfect game for me to answer the question that people have been asking me: is do I think the Aces will three-peat? Oh my gosh, get in the comments and say if they will. But and maybe this is actually gonna be the poll question this week as well. But still, like, if you want to like elaborate on why you think they will or they won't, I think that they will. There were a lot of people on TikTok who, when I was asked this question, who were like, "No, nah, not gonna happen." And here's the thing: I get what you're saying, but I believe in the Aces. I'm sorry, that's my team. I'm a ride or die for them all the time. I think that the Aces definitely have things that they need to work on. Like, obviously, them starting games slow is not gonna get them a chip at all. I also think that everybody has to contribute. Like, everybody has to play and has to be consistent. And I'm really hoping that after the Olympics, or really just like the Olympics themselves, are gonna help them, like Kelsey, Jackie, and Asia. It's not really Asia. It's really Kelsey and Jackie and Chelsea a little bit. Like, I think it's going to help them get, into the vibe and really get them going. So I'm hoping that after the break, this team's going to look very different. But yeah, I think that they do have things that they need to work on. But outside of that, like, I really think that this team can three-peat. I think it's about them showing up 100% on both ends of the floor. It's also about everybody contributing, no matter how, like, small or big, like, their minutes are. Like, it just comes down to everybody putting everything they have on the floor every single night. And I feel like I haven't really seen that from everybody this season. And hopefully that's something that changes. But I really do think when it comes down to it, they're going to do everything that they can to win this third chip. And I'm ready to see that greatness happen. Honestly, I think that they have the talent there. It's just about consistency and them wanting it. And, at the end of the day, I think that every team is going to give them their best no matter what. And I think this was just one of those cases where the Sky just came in there and gave them their very best, and they played like their best basketball. And the Aces just kind of took that for granted a little bit and kind of maybe weren't expecting it. But I do think that this team can three-peat, and I don't think that like any one loss of the season like is a determining factor of whether or not you're going to win a championship or whether or not you're good enough to win a championship. But anyways, I do first of all want to say that Amazon Prime, you will pay. You will pay. There was a couple times where my game was glitching a little bit, and I didn't appreciate that. And that's another reason why I feel like, and I say this every single time, Amazon Prime should not have live sports. They're not responsible enough for live sports. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I did watch this game live, and like I said, it was the best game of the season to me. The Aces just had another slow start. They don't get their energy up enough until it's too late, and they have to dig themselves out of the hole. And they just don't have enough in the tank at the end that they dig themselves out of a hole to like close the game and to win. I think that the defense was pretty bad this game and it's not even that some people were trying, others weren't, it seemed like. And that was unfortunate, but their problem so far this season has really been their defense. And that's what Becky has said all season. And again, even the commentators have pointed out that, like, they get off to these slow starts and they make it hard for themselves to come back and win. And that's never going to be a great way to win a championship. But at the end of the day, I think nobody could stop Kennedy Carter. Like, nobody in the league has an answer for her. She either just has a bad game on her own, but it's rarely ever that somebody else stopped her from having a good game. So Kennedy Carter played really great this game. Nobody can take that away from her ever. They were getting beat in the paint. The Aces had 36 points in the paint. Hold on. Oh, I see. The Aces were just getting beat in the paint. The Sky had 50 points in the paint this game to their 36. I love Kelsey a lot, but this was a really bad game for her, unfortunately. She shot 4 of 17 and 0 of 8 from 3. Sydney Colson came in the game and she shifted the energy. And I think, like, if you keep her in the game, you win it. But I think taking her out was a mistake. And from the moment she was taken out of the game, the energy shifted back to like what it was before. And it just wasn't really the same. And I think that's another reason they weren't really able to pull out the win. I think she also single-handedly got them out of the hole that they were in. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to say that they like blew it entirely, but like they kind of did. Like they had the opportunity to kind of like get over the hump and, you know, give themselves the lead, and they just weren't able to do that. And even Tiffany Hayes had a really great game. She played some really good defense, and it just really came down to like you needed a fourth person to kind of come in and contribute a little bit more offensively, and you didn't really have that. So that's why this happens, I think. Asia Wilson had 28 points, 14 rebounds, 3 steals, and 5 blocks. Tiffany Hayes had 19 points, 3 assists, and she shot 8 of 10. Very efficient night for her. Jackie Young had 17 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals. And then for the Sky, they had a really great win, obviously. Beating the Aces is really prime time at this point. But Marina was shooting really well this game, and, you know, it could have been because she knew she was getting traded. But, hey, who am I? Kennedy Carter had 34 points, 3 steals, and shot 14 of 24. Again, nobody had an answer for her. They put Kelsey on her, they put Jackie on her, and they weren't able to stop Kennedy. She's just too fast. Marina Mabrey had 15 points, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Izzy Harrison had 8 points, 6 rebounds, and she was just exactly where you needed her to be, when you needed her to be there on the floor that night. She even had a basket where she like tipped it in. I think she was just trying to just get possession of the ball, but she ended up tipping it in, and that was a really great play. And at that point, I kind of knew where the game was going because, you know, like when you're just getting like those 50-50 like balls or shots and stuff like that, it's kind of like you kind of know where the game is headed and what's going on and what's going to happen. So again, congrats to them. Angel had a double-double. She had 13 points and 10 rebounds. So congrats to the Sky. They played a really great game. The coach did a really great job, obviously. And yeah, this was a good win for them, especially going into the break. So congrats to them. On Wednesday, we had 2 games, and this is the last 2 of the week. First, we had Dream versus Lynx, and then we had Fever versus Wings. For the Dream versus Lynx game, obviously the Lynx won. You know what I'm saying? Obviously. The Lynx had a really rough start to the first quarter, but eventually they were able to, you know, get the ball rolling and win the game. This was actually the game where Cheryl said that they aren't really a team that drives in the paint. And again, I get that, but we're going to need to see a little bit more of that, I fear. Anyways, Diamond Miller, she got some really great minutes and gave some good energy off the bench. The kids were really loud. This was another camp day, and whenever the Dream went to the line, they were just screaming their little hearts out. And honestly, as they should, show up and support your team, okay? Anyways, Alana Smith had a really great game. She was stealing the ball and shooting well. Kayla McBride got hot in the second quarter, and the rest is history, honestly. Kayla had 30 points. Natisha Heidemann had 18 points, 4 assists, and shot 6 of 12. And again, I point out that this is really crazy when you compare 18 points and 4 assists to 12 minutes and 0 points. It's really crazy. It's really crazy when you compare. I'm just saying. I'm just saying when you put the two next to each other, it's crazy. Anyways, Alana Smith had 13 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. She was really cooking that day, okay? For the Dream, Ryan Howard was back this game. Ariel Powers was back this game. They just weren't able to get it done. But Cheyenne Parker-Tyus shot really well. Ryan Howard had 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 assists. Cheyenne Parker-Tyus had an amazing game, 16 points, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, and shot 5 of 5, and then shot 6 of 6 from the free throw line. They were fighting really hard this game. I thought they played really well. This team definitely looks better when Ryan is on the floor, and I'm sure, without a doubt in my mind, if Ryan and Jordan are on the floor together, very different team, but I still haven't seen it, so hey, what can you do? Anyways, next and last game, we have Fever versus Wings. The Wings won this one, girl. They won this one, okay? For the Wings, the coach, she did her little in-game interview, and again, I always love that the coach is always ready and excited for her in-game interview. She's always giving great energy. She's ready to answer those questions. She's never really giving frustrated or annoyed. She always seems calm, like she knows exactly what she needs to ask of her team and what they need to do, and I love that. And to the Dallas Wings, I'm still waiting on my merch. Anyways, the Dallas Wings deserve their props and respect this game. They are, like I said at the beginning of the episode, extremely gritty. And for the most part, they always play hard and stay competitive. And in crunch time, sometimes they struggle to get the job done. But not this time. They got the job done in crunch time. And I was really proud of them watching this game. Arike gave you 24 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals. Odyssey Sims gave you 24 points, 9 assists, and 3 rebounds. Natasha Howard gave you 17 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. And actually, she went out at one point with maybe a ankle roll or something, but she came back and she still gave you a good stat line. Kalani Brown, I really enjoyed her minutes again this game. She gave you 13 points and 3 rebounds. And JC Sheldon had 11 points and 3 rebounds. Again, I love that. I really like that lineup. I felt like they had a lot of energy and they really wanted this win to close out the this first half of the season before the All-Star break and the Olympic break. So I think they did a really great job. And I'm excited to see what they look like fully healthy. For the Fever, somebody ended up asking me on TikTok about this game. And, when I answered the question, there were some people who were upset about Christy Sides' timeout calls and some of the choices that she made. But personally, I didn't think that they played super terribly or anything. Caitlin turned the ball over at a very pivotal point in the fourth quarter. And I think that was the turning point of the game. And from then on, I think it was the Wings game to win. And I think the storyline was more so about that than it was about the Fever losing. I thought it took a lot and always takes a lot for the Wings to overcome a team and to win. And to me, this was exactly what they needed to do to kind of shift, the energy for the rest of the season when they come back after the break. And I thought it was a really great win for them. And again, even with Caitlin turning the ball over in the fourth, I think it happens. And nobody was blaming her or anything. Anyways, immediately the person who was blamed was Coach Sides. And I get it. Maybe she called an untimely timeout or whatever. But at the end of the day, the pivotal point and the turning point of this game was then, unfortunately. And I think, it happens. Sometimes you turn the ball over. And I think that, she'll learn from this and she's going to be ready for the next game or for the next, whenever that happens the next time, she'll probably make a different decision or something. Or, maybe she'll handle the ball differently and it'll just be different. But I'm sure she'll learn from this moment and everything's going to be fine. So I'm not really tripping. I don't ever really trip. So, well, except for when the Lynx be losing. That's a reason to trip. But outside of that, I don't be tripping like that. But they played really great. I think she set a record. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure she did. Anyways, Aaliyah Boston had 28 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, and shot 11 of 14. Absolutely amazing. Caitlin Clark had 24 points, 19 assists, and 6 rebounds, and she shot 10 of 19. Nalissa Smith had 13 points and 12 rebounds. It was a really great game. And honestly, I really appreciate you guys for watching this episode. You know, the All-Star game is later today, so I hope you guys are tuned in and you watch that. I don't know if I'm going to be watching. I'm supposed to be going out to eat food, so I'm probably going to do that. And yeah, it should be a great time. And honestly, I hope this break treats the people well, treats the players well. And I'm going to be here talking about the Olympics probably, so come back for that maybe. But again, thank you guys so much for listening. If you did, I know this episode was kind of long, but there were a lot of great games to close out this first part of the season. So I'm excited for the rest. I'll see you guys next week maybe, or like the week after that. I don't really know. Whenever the Olympics start, I'm going to be here on that weekend. So okay. If you want to know more about that, if you're confused and you want to know if that's coming or not, get in the Twitter for the Girls Who Like Hoops. Everything is linked at the bottom in the link tree. And also, there's something else I'm supposed to be saying. Is there something else I'm supposed to be saying? You can follow me on TikTok and all the places. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.